Artist to artist, venue to venue, another great interview brought to you by Spokane's newest online community, Spokane Music Mag.
Hi, so I'm Chris Adams here with Spokane Music Magazine. We're here with Michael Graves. We're going to do a little interview here. We're at the Pinnacle tonight in Spokane, Washington. So let's go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Michael Graves. My claim to fame is that I started with a band called the Misfits. I'm here at the Pinnacle on an acoustic tour in support of a new record called Backroads.
Cool, Backroads. So now is Backroads, you have like other acoustic stuff before this too, right? Or several albums, I believe.
Yep, I started my acoustical journey, if you will, oh man, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. I really wanted to get back to the roots of everything.
Absolutely.
I'm when you take apart rock and roll, punk rock, heavy metal, anything, when you start to back engineer that music and that history, you wind up in the American South, and you get back to all that roots music, be it gospel or be it folk music,
right?
And so I really immersed myself in that, believing that would invigorate and renew a musical spirit in me, and I worked real hard on learning to play and sing at the same time, and I just started playing that way.
Right there, right? So you're originally from New Jersey, right?
Yep, northeastern New Jersey.
So did you? How long did you kind of grow up there? Were you there for teenage years, or
I was there until I was 18, really, and I moved to South Jersey. I mean, I spent pretty much all my life in New Jersey until I spent a year in Little Rock, Arkansas. I live in central New York State now.
So you got a lot of exposure to that kind of music, the kind of soulful type, roots of a lot of where music comes from anyway. So
yeah, absolutely. I started working with Damien Eccles, who's from the West Memphis 3. When I, early on in my acoustic, we call it an acoustic journey.
Right? Yeah.
And hooking up with him, and Damien was on death row at the time. We were writing music together.
Wow.
And so I spent time in the South and in Arkansas, where he's from, and Mississippi, and just really swallowed as much and absorbed as much of that culture, the Southern culture, as I possibly could. I always felt something in me that resonated with that culture and with that music,
right.
And it's just amazing the way things.
I got to tell you though, from hearing your sound check, from the Misfits is the claim to fame or whatever, but
yeah,
I mean, in my personal opinion, what I'm hearing, that's your connection right there. I mean,
yeah, the Misfits were a gateway.
Absolutely, and you have to kind of do that to get your name out there, kind of get known or get a ghost star and things like that. And that was a beautiful thing too, I mean,
I was at the right place at the right time.
That was cool.
I really was, and that was an opportunity that I had been preparing for all my life, really. And so but I really believe that it was a doorway to all of this.
Absolutely, very cool, very cool. What else I want to ask? So I know you've done some project recently besides your acoustic stuff. I know you've worked with a lot of them. I know you worked with a lot of bands. I'm curious about this. Didn't you work with a Russian band where they did their album in Russian? I think it's Samhain. What is it here? Last Samhain, and they did all Russian vocals. And did you turn around and do all their stuff, and you did all of it in American vocals?
Yeah. So I'm president. I'm president of a company called Hydraulic.
Right.
My business partner, my best friend on the planet, an angel from heaven, Mark Allen Stewart.
Mark Allen Stewart, all right.
Who's the CEO, called me up one day and said, listen, I found this band, I came across this band, they reached out to me, I listened to their stuff. You gotta listen to it, it's really great. I listen to a lot of music, a lot of submissions, a lot of bands, all the time.
I'm sure you do, yeah.
So it's like, all right, man, I'll get around to it. he said, no, you really got to hear these guys. So I immediately put their music on, and it was just like instantaneous. They had something.
And this was in Russian. They were singing in Russian.
And it was totally, it was
okay.
totally
so
in Russian.
You probably didn't understand what they're saying.
I had no idea. I had
felt
no
the
idea.
vibe though, right?
I had no idea what they were talking about.
Right? But felt the vibe.
So Mark and I came up with the idea to bounce back with these guys that we would do like a double album because the music really was so good that I would sing their songs in English and it would be Russian and English.
Cool.
And
Very cool.
So and there was this whole process of trying to translate Russian into English
and getting syllables right when you sing. Because I sing, so I get that idea. It's like that'd be kind of a challenge. I was curious about that.
It was an amazing experience because we went on to do another record with them, an acoustic record. We did a video for one of the songs where we were sharing video back and forth, and we recorded. Obviously, we did our parts in America, and they did those over in Russia.
Very cool.
And to work with such an amazing group of young people in a totally different culture.
Great experience.
Yeah, it was really amazing, and to meld the two, the community of fans brings a spirited togetherness that we certainly need nowadays.
Absolutely, I highly agree with that. The whole music community in general needs to be more supportive of each other, and I don't know, let's maybe digitize, or it's kind of a weird place it seems right now between. What do you think about? What's your feelings on like with the internet and everything being like everybody has a basement studio and can kind of do stuff by themselves and not really get up and show up to practice and do all that kind of stuff. I mean it's different from when you started and to what it is now.
At the end of the day, there's still a human operator, whatever's happening. So it comes down to individual responsibility, right? If you had millions of young kids that are, again, I describe it as like, farm league or right above.
Right.
If you had all of them, all of us working together, regardless of your politics or what you think of one thing or another, working together, and working on their craft, showing up to practice or seriously working on your voice,
right?
And filling your minds with substantive thoughts and material that's going to further everyone, whatever genre you're in. We would be much further along as an industry.
Absolutely.
Even at the top, it's rotten at the top. Whether it's MTV, who you have to call out as a pinnacle of pop culture and a disseminator of music. The people at the top there that are getting into young people's minds and steering them in directions that then flow into their craft and their art are seriously corrupt in their minds and in their thinking. Because
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, it seems like a misdirection, like they a following of trends and what's popular and what makes money for people nowadays, as opposed to, like you were saying, people really dedicating to the craft for the beauty and the magic of what it really is, being serious about it, and like putting all stuff aside, a bit more of the human connection, right? That obviously seems like you have that, so that's
I try. I understand that there's conflicting opinions and thoughts when it comes to anything. Again, what I think that would serve the industry, the music industry in particular, is to have people. You have this fight over all-inclusiveness. There needs to be room for thought and craft that encompasses everybody and everything.
Right. It seems like a prevailing selfishness, and everybody wants to own and be its mine type thing, And
I'll go down the rabbit hole and start throwing out conspiracy theories at you.
All right, so I got another question. So you've done some work on movie stuff too. I mean, that's kind of want you to kind of touch on stuff that you might have done with worked on soundtracks. I mean, you've had like little bits of stuff here and there, like everywhere. Has this been through like your partner in Hydraulic Entertainment?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of do they send you information and you kind of review to kind of decide where you want to go, or I mean?
A lot of opportunities just come that way. People reaching out and just networking and sifting through that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you like to do like on your free time? Like when you're not, I know you're really busy in music and stuff like that, and I know it pervades the mind a lot. So what do you like to do on your free time when you just like relax and chill? You know, what gives you the put off that stress, of the day? And,
I'm like I describe myself as like a punk rock redneck. I live on 23 acres. I live in an old, rickety farmhouse that was built in the 1800s.
Wow.
I'm restoring the property best I can. It's an old goat farm, so I walk around the property and
very cool.
I sweep and I
absolutely.
That's
what
I do. I love being outside. I love hiking. I love tracking. I love daydreaming about making the farm operational again. I love to read. I'm a history buff. I just love taking in information. I'm an information hound. That really
cool.
is my hobby.
And
hanging out with my kids. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I love
boy or girl.
I have two girls.
Okay, so how's that being the dad? Like in instilling into them like what obviously you've learned through life.
It's the greatest thing I've ever known in my life. Truly, it's the greatest thing, and it inspires me to. That's my phone, by the way. You hear that sound? Told you it would go off.
He's the one that didn't turn off the phone, not me. Mine's back here, by the way. So, well, they seem fortunate that you can instill like all the good stuff that you're saying now into them as they grow up in this weird world now. It's different than when
absolutely.
we were younger.
That's the truth.
So that's obviously a blessing, very much.
Truly, God's gift, God's greatest gift are children.
Amen. So I got to get back to with the Misfits name, I know that's like a tag thing for you and on. Do you want to like separate from that, and kind of eventually not have to associate with that name, or is that is that kind of like just a full thing of like who you are, which I think it is. I think it's all part of your life and everything that you do. So.
Yeah, I celebrate that music, and I love talking about those times. One of the unfortunate things is that the fans, young and old, they've really been exposed to, and they know the bad stories about that band. You know what I mean? Like everybody knows like the drama behind it.
Right.
But truly, there was so much more good than there was bad. And
people focus on the negativity of things and it's the drama of it. Yeah,
and there's a lot. It's kind of cool because there's a lot of mystery and who said what and when. So it makes it exciting, but. Yeah, I love celebrating that music and playing those songs.
Very cool.
And keeping that spirit alive.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, are there any bands that you like now that like kind of new bands that are coming out that you kind of maybe throw out there? Is that kind of no? If not that, then how about some older bands that like influence you that you just like go back to and like really enjoy listening to maybe? If not names, maybe styles. I mean, we kind of touched on that, but.
I've never been a very cliquey. I'm not a very cliquey person.
Right.
So like anything that I hear, if it moves me inside, I like it and I'll listen to it. So
it has nothing to do with
it has
or what's
nothing.
cool.
Awesome. Not at all.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah.
Sometimes that question gets me into trouble because I start throwing out bands like.
I was wondering when I asked, I was like, do you want to give me shout outs or anything like that? But yeah. So,
when I was younger, man, I listened to John Denver records and like Simon and Garfunkel and Bruce Springsteen.
Grandma's Feather Bed.
And Billy Joel and Rolling Stones and Ozzy Osbourne and on a David Bowie. My mom was a big music fan, and I remember Barry Manilow always being on, and theatrical. She had all these like theater stuff on 8-tracks I used to listen to. Jesus Christ Superstar and Grease and the soundtrack to Star Wars. I mean, on and on. I'm a product of the '80s, so like I was a big fan of all the '80s.
Right, I get that.
Too.
Yeah, I get that. So with what you're doing acoustically now, do you intend to like keep it with just you, or do you ever think about like maybe I want another rhythm guitar guy with me, or maybe I want to kind of, take it to the next level, not necessarily a full band, but or do you want to keep it just kind of with you and just what you're doing,
Like the show that I'll do tonight, I like it just me. I like it just bare bones. There's nothing on the guitar. There's nothing on my vocals. There's nowhere to hide. And the only way to truly connect to an audience is through your heart and your soul. And again, really truly embracing that medium and understanding the magic of music and performance. And that's why I love this so much. The songs, like the newer songs, my goal and my dream is to build a big band and have as many guitarists as I need and have the backup singers and I mean, not totally Axl Rose, you know what I mean? Where I have, the Metropolitan Symphony with me. But,
cool. So do you intend to keep from here? So are you on tour? Are you touring from? You say you live back over towards the east? So are you kind of working back that way? And
I started March 21st was the first show in it was in Huntsville, Alabama, and I've just been working my way around the country. I'm headed back east now.
That's cool. So traveling's probably got to be a pretty cool experience. I mean, just road. I mean, do you enjoy it, or is it?
I do. I love it. I'll be honest with you, there was a time in my life that I didn't. I was missing the forest for the trees, if you will, and it was really hard to be away from home and to be away from my family, and but now in the past few years I've really embraced it and recognized how lucky I am and how blessed I am to be able to have these opportunities. I mean, you'll see tonight, it's amazing, I'm a believer. Jesus Christ is my Savior. I don't push that on anybody. But in that sort of realm, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh man, the stuff that you did with the Misfits and the hypocrisy of that." And I tell them, you got to come to a Michael Graves show now. You watch, even if there's 7 people in this room, they're hugging me and everyone's smiling and they're telling me about their life. And they're telling me about how the music has affected them and saved them and got them through hard times. And that's the most amazing thing in the world. Even with all the sacrifice that I've had to make, with my family and everything else to live this life. I'm truly, truly blessed, and I'm one of the richest men ever.
Well, amen to that. I mean, I gotta say, I felt the magic just in your sound check and listening to your stuff. It's a very connection that you are fortunate. You're very lucky.
Thank you.
People look at that. Genuine people will know that, and they can see that for sure.
Thank you.
I appreciate it personally. So, I don't know what else. Anything else that you want to kind of say? Shout out.
Hydraulic Entertainment.
Hydraulic Entertainment. So Spokane Music Magazine. Chris Adams signing off with Michael Graves at the Pinnacle. We'll see you next time.